We've got some new shattered weapons here that look like they're going to be coming to the game in the not so distant future, and they do have very interesting perks or abilities on them when you actually use them in combat. And I reckon these are all going to be coming to the Helix Store, and I'm going to explain why I reckon so in a moment, because we also have Basim's sword here with full stats, so it definitely looks like that's also going to be coming to Valhalla, hopefully before the end of the year. Now, all of this info is thanks to Pedder, who of course found it in the most recent 1.4 update. So just because this stuff hasn't been released yet, it is very much subject to change, so do bear that in mind, and our thanks to him for whipping this up for us, and of course more thanks to Ubisoft actually for providing some fantastic photos so we can kind of get a better visual look at them. Now, these shattered weapons do look like they're going to be part of a Helix pack, as they've actually been named as store in the game files under the umbrella title Broken Weapons, so I'm told, and we've actually seen something similar before in the recently released Svartalfar Dwarven weapons that actually are in the store right now. So no armor, just a pure weapon pack, and I'd expect these weapons to arrive in a very similar format. Now, if you're going to spend real money to buy weapons from an in-game shop on top of the game that you've already bought, well, they better have some sort of unique selling point on top of the fact that they actually have to look cosmetically decent, right? Well, Ubisoft are of course acutely aware of this and have actually placed these perk animations on each weapon where fragments or shards explode from each one, which can actually be triggered by performing a specific move in-game with a specific weapon that you've equipped. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first Broken Blade weapon. It's a one-handed sword, and I can't help but think that a lot of inspiration for the blade itself and not the hilt has perhaps been taken from Narsil, which was Isildur's sword in Lord of the Rings. And I'm not complaining at all about that, but that's kind of what I first thought when I saw it, and perhaps that reference is made even more so because when you actually parry with this weapon, fragments explode outward and deal damage to everybody in the vicinity. And perhaps I am trying to fit circles into squares here and running the legs of this Lord of the Rings reference, but that also sounds very familiar to me, but it does look pretty cool when you actually get the proc to happen. Now, we've got another sword here called the Sundered Slayer, where fragments are going to erupt from the ground, which also deals more AoE damage, but this time though, instead of parrying, you need to perform a light finisher to kind of get it to proc, and the weapon also needs to be in the main hand for this to happen. What I would say is try not to kill civilians when you do this, just like Pedder does here though, but I also know that he doesn't care, and he probably did this on purpose, so what an absolute rogue. Next up, we've got a big boy two-hander axe, and this is quite interesting as you're actually going to pick up another AoE damage effect only if you trigger a special attack hit, as you can kind of see here when Pedder swings his axe. And it kind of looks to me that this AoE effect isn't circular per se, but more of a kind of cone shape in a sporadic or random direction, which isn't fantastic in my opinion. I think it's a cool looking big axe, but comparatively to the other AoE damage effects, I don't think this is as good as them. So we've had 3 melee weapons so far, and we do have a ranged weapon to talk about here called the Splintered Shooter. I actually think this is a genuinely good bow, to be fair, and I think it's a shame it's going to be in the store, and I do hope we actually pick up something similar in the next DLC, as the special perk on this bad boy deals AoE damage when you actually hit a headshot with it, and I reckon you could do some considerable AoE damage alongside some of the other range abilities that we do now have available to us in game. Also, it's not a bad looking bow, to be honest with you, so very much a standout out of the bunch on this one for me, depending upon your playstyle of course. And by the way folks, if you have learned anything new from the video so far, if you wouldn't mind, a very swift like down below only takes a moment of your time, and it's the best way to show your support, so thank you very much. Now let's talk about Basim's sword. This elegant Persian beast has been long overdue, and the stats on it aren't too shabby either. Your attack actually increases when parrying, with a speed increase after a dodge, but the thing here is, if you do perform both in quick succession, the bonus duration on the weapon increases. So if you parry, dodge, and then hit an NPC, you can actually build some half decent stat bonuses here. However, if that's too much effort and you've already got your kind of playstyle that you like to play in this game, this thing is going to make for a fantastic transmog option in my eyes. But that aside, when is any of this stuff actually going to be released? Well, I'm going to be straight up honest with you. I honestly don't know when this is going to be coming. And that's the same with the shattered weapons that we just chatted about, but we can make some guesstimations. The Ubisoft 35th anniversary runs until December the 5th, I believe, and more rewards for their games will be inbound over the next 3 weeks. So there's potential for Basim's sword to drop within this window, particularly as the stats, the model, everything's there, it's all named and it's ready to go. So I can actually see this arriving sooner rather than later. Now, as for the broken weapon pack, I'd say December makes sense to kind of release more Helix packs to take advantage of everybody spending power in that holiday season from a business point of view, and that is exactly what the Helix store is all about, business. However, you just never know with Ubisoft. It could be sooner, it could be later, or perhaps just not even at all, so we're just going to have to wait and see. I also just wanted to say a very quick thank you to everyone who was kind enough to wish me a happy first anniversary on YouTube a few days ago. You lot sent me some awesome messages, pictures, videos, a cake, and you even raised money to buy me a new microphone, which I actually just I still can't believe, to be honest with you. I actually didn't think the microphone was that bad, bad, but the people have spoken and I will get this changed as soon as I possibly can. But jokes aside, I've been totally blown away by the support in the last 12 months, and even though I make these videos in my spare time outside of my full-time job, I genuinely just can't wait to get home and make more videos for you and chat to you in the comments. So thank you very much again. You have my eternal gratitude. And if you haven't already, do come and swing by and say hello in our awesome Discord community of over 700 members. There genuinely is some fantastic people here, and it would be great to chat to you in the lobby. I also want to say thanks again to Peda and Ubisoft for their work behind the scenes here to bring this video to you. And I think that's going to do it for me on this one, folks. I really do hope you learned something new or enjoyed the video. I'm sure I'll see you in the next one. And as usual, coffee's on me.